The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.
Welcome to the show that sets your mind in motion. This is the Great Debaters Contest, Nyeri Region, and I am Austin Njonjo.
And I am Mariam Bishar. We have an all-girls affair with Njonjo girls facing off with Pioneer girls on whether global environmental degradation is the greatest threat facing human existence. We'll let the debaters take the stage now. Poser number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Our environment is our future. Our future is our survival. Our survival is our development. Wanja Mwangi from the mighty Njonjo, here to propose the motion that says global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development. What is global? Something relating to the whole world. Second, what is environment? Our natural surrounding, be it living or non-living things. Third, we have degradation, reduce in value. Therefore, environmental degradation means deterioration of natural resources, which includes soil, water, and air. Human means inhabitants that live on planet Earth. Development is the progressive change in something. Therefore, human development, it is the progressive change in the livelihood of a human being. And to my first point, we have natural calamities, including tornadoes, tsunamis, earthquake. Take, for example, Indian Ocean in 2004. There was a tsunami that affected 14 countries which are related to Indian Ocean. You know, many human beings have tried to control some natural phenomena like tsunamis, but it has proved to be impossible because they still affect us. Some results of such occurrences is that many people die. People who could offer labor leading to human development. People who could bring human development to us. Also, in Tohoku, Japan, in the year 2011, there was also a crisis in earthquake whereby many people lost their lives. A maximum of 230,000 people died and others were reported missing. Tell me how that family member who lost his or her family member in such an occurrence. Therefore, we cannot control the environment, meaning it is the leading cause to human underdevelopment. And to my second point, elimination of medical trees such as cedar, which is used to manufacture drugs for chest colds. Not only that, scientists have also proved that we can find anti-cancer drugs that can be used in curing drugs. But what are we doing? We're getting rid of this forest, this rainforest that could offer us the problem that is facing us. 46% of people die in Earth today due to cancer. Take, for example, Karura Forest. It was destroyed so that they could put up a mall. Therefore, I would urge my dear opposers to join me in saying that global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development. My case is calm, but I'm not at rest until the verdict is given that we are right. Thank you.
Pioneer, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
Is environmental degradation really the biggest threat to human development? No, I don't think so. My name is Natalie Kendi from Pioneer School, here to oppose the motion that global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development. If not environmental degradation, what then? Dare I say, insecurity. Insecurity is the state of being in open danger. Where can't you find insecurity in any country? Insecurity is in many forms, such as terrorism, world war, xenophobia, and ethnic clashes. This insecurity destroys business environments, such as in Somalia, it is practically impossible to carry out any business activity thanks to the Al-Shabaab. In Syria, you cannot carry out any business plan because of the ISIS. Yet, these countries have the same resources, such as oil, good ports, and charcoal. Even in Kenya, During the election violence, people could not move, businesses could not run, investors ran away. In northern Nigeria, the Boko Haram made it impossible for people to carry out business activities. Another example, in southern Sudan, it has huge deposits of oils with over 15 billion barrels of oil. Ideally, it should be the most developed country in Africa. But instead, its people are languishing in poverty. We are all aware of the civil wars in southern Sudan between the government and the rebels. This same reason halts mining and transportation of oil, same to Nigeria. The citizens are drowning in poverty. But countries that are secure, an example is the United Arab Emirates. The difference between it and southern Sudan is that they have been able to explore their resources and use it to develop their people. Hence, in parts such as Dubai, known to be a paradise on earth because of the quality life, such as good hospitals, good schools, the shopping malls, and the good infrastructure. In southern Sudan, a place such as Darfur, which has a lot of oil, is a hell on earth because the sounds of guns are everywhere, wailing of people dying, poverty, and misery is increased. Yes, the environment is degrading, and we don't like it. But insecurity and conflict are lethal because it destroys and kills immediately. And that is why I strongly propose that environmental degradation is not the biggest threat to human development. It is actually insecurity. Thank you.
Okay, time for cross-examinations. Njonjo, you have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Let's do something practically. Let's breathe in, breathe out. Well, my dear audience, that fresh air that you have just breathed right now informs you that the ozone layer depleted will deprive you of such a right in the later years. Shanice Mwai from the mighty Njonjo proposing the motion, global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development. Well, to my dear opposers, if indeed global environmental degradation is not the biggest threat, why do we have international organizations? And I quote, Earth System Governance Project, Global Environment Facility, and United Nations Environment Program, because they know that the human race will become extinct in the coming years. On to my first point. Research from the www.un.org has found out that desertification is encroaching our world at an increasing rate of 12 million hectares per year. This same research shows that 50 million people may be displaced within the next coming years. Where is the human race going? If 50 million will be displaced, where will they go to? If not this earth. And we should do something about it. As it is said, fear is the seductive power of what? Goodness. On to my second point, my dear opposers. Pollution is manifested in various ways. 1, land pollution. 2, air pollution. And 3, water pollution. On to my first point, air pollution. From feeds, Pollution by Minuba has proven that 50% of deaths in the world, they are as a result of the various types of pollution. 1, we have the chlorofluorocarbons, aerosols, and the exhaust fumes. They lead to respiratory diseases such as lung cancer, bronchitis, and they destroy the most important system, the endocrine system. This system, it regulates the production of hormones, which are responsible for the growth and development of human. If we destroy such a system, it means no one will be alive at this moment. On to my other point, from the New York Times Asia Pacific report, nuclear leaks in the Japanese 2017 are still struggling to ensure that they get rid of the nuclear waste. Why? When the nuclear waste are deposited on our soils, what does it lead to? It leads to infertility. And we know that we cannot continue living if we don't satisfy our stomach. As I conclude, to my dear opposers, let us reason together. As they say, the home of the Soviet people shall be the home of reason. Thank you.
Okay, opposition, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
Wow. Honestly, I'm impressed about your figures and your facts, but you said 50 million people displaced. Well, I have bigger figures. 60 million people died due to insecurity. So this is why I tell you, nothing, and I mean nothing, causes as much decline in human development as insecurity. First World War. 17 million people, their lives were claimed with this war. 20 million people misplaced. Look at countries like Syria. Since the beginning of the war in 2011, a lot of property has been destroyed. The loss is estimated at $275 billion worth of property destroyed in only 6 years. Perhaps this were to continue until 2020. The loss is estimated at a staggering $1.3 trillion worth of property. Imagine how much human development would have taken place with this money that was destroyed due to insecurity. This had nothing to do with environmental degradation, but insecurity. I'm going to bring you back home to Kenya. Westgate. 21st September 2013, in just one day, billions of shillings worth of installments was reduced to rubble. All that went up in smoke in just one day. Environmental effects have been there. Could you tell me of one that has caused this much damage in such a short time? My name is Lena Serai from Pioneer School, greatly opposing this motion that global environmental degradation is the greatest threat to human development. During the post-election violence, most of you were born by then. I was in class 2. It is estimated that 117,000 private properties were destroyed. 350,000 people were forced to flee from their homes, leaving their property being plundered by other people. Railways were uprooted. Roads were shut or destroyed. Schools, hospitals, and many other social amenities that we need. So this is why I continue asking you, environmental degradation being the greatest threat to human development, really? Insecurity is the greatest issue here. Look at the bigger picture. Insecurity, once more, has led to a lot of death. Once again, I say Syria. 400,000 people's lives were claimed. 6.3 billion people living as refugees in their own country. Tell me, if you're living as a refugee, are you able to develop as a human? As I finish, environmental degradation is a threat. I agree. I acknowledge that. But insecurity is the big issue here. Thank you for your ears.
Thank you very much for those questions, audience. The proposers have been asked if we are putting development ahead of environmental protection. And of course, the opposition have been asked about, they talked about there being very little business and economic progress going on in Somalia. So are they sure of that point, and can they substantiate it? We'll have them respond. Third proposer, you have 3 minutes.
East or west, home is best. But what happens when that home cannot cater for the conditions that we need? I am Consolata Washira from the mighty Njonjo proposing the motion. Global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development. Actually, I would like to answer your question by repeating what my fellow proposer said. An environment is a set of conditions that are there to cater for all of us as the human race. And when you talk about infrastructure, please, I would like you to pardon your question to my opposers. Let me tell you this, insecurity, yes, insecurity. It is there in Somalia, it is there in Kenya, it is there in Nigeria, it is there in everywhere in this world. But remember, environment. We talked about environment. Environment is a set of conditions. So people living there, it is a set of conditions that it's including the war itself. So we mean by eradication of the peace in those areas, that's why we cannot develop any longer. That's why insecurity is encompassed in the motion, environmental degradation. On to my other point, extinction of flora and fauna in the environment. Take a case example of Kenya, my fellow people. Kenya, mostly we depend on tourism, not mostly after agriculture. But let me tell you something. If the environment continues not to be on our side, not to favor us, things like the Big Five, things like the marine parks in Mombasa, things like the animals that are there in our game parks and game reserves will no longer be there. Why? Environmental degradation. Look at how many people depend on tourism today. How many game rangers are there? And when you talk about it, you can see environmental degradation. We will no longer continue living the way we were living as usual. So, to my opposers, I would humbly request you, let us reason together and come to a point that it is the environment. Everything about today's life, it's life on land about the environment. So please, let us reason together.
You have 3 minutes to answer the audience questions.
As I put on my eyes, I see the clarity. I see the clarity that goes with my fellow opposers over here. Because I agree totally with Consolata that one, we should work together. But like she said, she decided to join me. Why is this? She just said, where is that there is no insecurity? Well, tell me, I'd actually want to know. Because you're trying to tell me that you want to deal with the environment, but what environment would you live in if there were no people in that environment? So my worthy opponent says that global environmental degradation is the biggest threat to human development, but, and again I ask, is it really? So let's look at it in a logical and substantial way with hard facts. My name is Stephanie Maigwa from Pioneer School, JD, to strongly oppose this motion. Benjamin, thank you so much for your input. And like you said, would you really want to compare the income gotten from the bananas in the country to how much income is used to make their military better? Well, it does contribute. Thank you, it does. But we'll spend most of our money, most of our resources, most of everything we have to try and make our country safer. Insecurity, insecurity. Insecurity slows down economic growth. How? Destructions of homes, businesses, families, countries. But if this money was to be channeled somewhere else, maybe we wouldn't be talking about insecurity. Maybe we wouldn't be here talking about environmental degradation. And let's take an example of Syria. Everything's almost coming to a grinding halt, because since the year 2011, the economy has dropped by 50%. And this is estimated to continue dropping day by day, week by week, year by year, by exactly 6.4%. This is by research done by David Batter of the London-based Chatham House. The year 2015 and 2019 is estimated to be the worst year of that country. We are right in between. We are in 2017. Think about all the money. Actually, don't even think about it. Let me tell you how much it is. $16 billion is being used currently to buy war tools, to buy machinery, and to work on the little kinks that we call war. Think about 2007 post-election violence. Our GDP was at a steady and growing 7.1%. What year are we in? Well, currently, if I look at my watch, it tells me the date is 2017. In this 2017, we are at 2%, a steady 2%. We are not going anywhere. Why? Because it took only 1 month to nearly cripple our economy. Tourism in Somalia is at a halt, because I personally wouldn't want to visit it. And I don't think you would either. So you know what? We need to stop being like countries like USA who use 600 billion. We need to stop being like countries like China that use 100 billion. or Saudi that uses 10% of their income to warfare. So you know what? Please join us. Stop thinking about the environment. Think about major issues like insecurity. Help us help you, and we, in turn, will come and help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll hear closing statements. Njonjo girls, you have a minute.
Well, you know, my fellow opposer talked of wearing her eyes. Maybe, and just maybe, these eye problems are as a result of air pollution. On to my other point. Yes. You talk of terrorism, and terrorism. Why is it that in the year 2004, our own late Professor Wangari Maathai, she got an opportunity to win the Nobel Prize. For what? For caring for the environment. Because if we do not care for our environment, all these developments that we are talking of, they won't come to accomplishment. And there's the three cubed principle, which talks of reduced, reuse, and recycle. This is what we need to do to our environment to make it sustainable for human development and for civilization to prevail. I rest my case.
Pioneer girls, you have 1 minute as well.
It is important that we acknowledge that global environmental degradation is a threat. That I cannot deny. But it is not the greatest threat. Citizens in countries like Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and North Korea would beg to differ with me. So let's agree that the issues of floods, famine, pollution are actually consequences of poor leadership. So if you can deal with the leadership of your countries, meaning you can deal with my war, I can actually help you deal with your environment. So if we are to work together, you are to join me, join us, go to the better side. It would make not only war and the country stop, but would make our environment habitable. Thank you.
To the Njonjo girls, one obvious observation that the three of you have got a very good command of the language that cuts across the three of you, which is good, so keep it up. Shanice, you stood out of the three. I think you are an excellent debater. Stage presence was there, good voice projection, your points very well presented, and a lot of coherence also came from you. And I think that gave a lot of pluses to your team. Consolata, at first you are not very strong, but once again I think you recovered yourself and you are able to come out strongly.
To Pioneer, I like the stand that you took about insecurity and saying that this is our issue. And that's very good for a debating team, that everybody is going to come and take one angle and say this is the biggest thing. That is very good for your team as well. Natalie, defining the motion, very good speaker as well. Good case setting of insecurity. Lena, you came and gave very good facts about 60 million people dying. You need to give your sources as well. However, you're a very good debater and cross-examiner, equal enough for the war between you and Chinese, which is very good. Tiffany, good mastery of language, good examples as well. So citation, mastery of language as well. However, avoid the words cause when you're speaking, all right? All the best to the two teams.
Thank you very much. Audience, between Njonjo girls and Pioneer girls, whose results should I begin with? Pioneer, okay, I heard Pioneer first. Pioneer girls, you scored 70%. Please give them a round of applause. Njonjo girls, it seems you fared off evenly with Pioneer girls at 70% as well, making it a tie.
Thank you very much. We'd like to congratulate the teams on stage, our audience, and our viewers back home. Keep it locked on KBC Channel 1. Follow the conversation on social media at Great Debaters EA under the hashtag GDC for SDGs. Please, I've been Austin Njonjo.
And I'm Mariam Bishar. Thank you.
The Great Debaters Contest is powered by Blaze, by Safaricom, the Youth Network.